So once again, good morning to everybody. Last lecture we have seen this endurance limit, and also we have seen what is the SN curve. Related to that, what we have seen is the how we are going to draw the SN curve for the given material. Then what is the standard specimen? How we are going to conduct test with the standard specimen that we have seen. And these are nothing but the points where the failure of the standard specimen has taken place under the application of completely reversed stress. That is completely reversed stress. How we are going to give completely reversed stress? That is, we know that when we are going to apply that stress in that is tensile and compressive nature, and that tensile has a exactly same amount as we are going to apply the uh, compression. So that completely reverse stresses are applied, and in that case, how many cycles that particular component, that is standard component, is able to sustain. Based on that, we are going to draw this SN curve. Okay. So here also we can see this n means the number of cycles that we have taken on x-axis, that is here. This is the elaborated one that we have seen for the last lecture, and S means endurance limit, value of endurance limit. That's why it is known as SN curve. And here relation between this endurance limit and tensile strength has been illustrated in this graph, where different materials are taken as a carbon steel, alloy steel, and rough iron. These are the normally used materials in every component where we are going to design various machine components, and these are the uh, normally used materials. That's why here this diagram has been drawn. Okay, so this ratios of endurance limit to the ultimate tensile strength is varying from 0.6, 0.5, 0.4 as shown in this diagram. Okay, this diagram is also useful while we are going to design any component under the application of fluctuating type of stresses. Next, what we are going to see is the notch sensitivity. Now this notch sensitivity is actually a theoretical term which we are going to derive from the various what we can say the that here you can see that various what ratios which we are going to calculate based on the actual practical results, and later on we are going to derive that quantity known as notch sensitivity. Okay, basically first of all we have to calculate the stress concentration factor. Now factors, based on these factors we are going to calculate the notch sensitivity. Now theoretical stress concentration, okay, and fatigue or actual stress concentration, that experimentation has shown that there is somewhat difference between the theoretical stress concentration and actual stress concentration. Now this theoretical stress concentration, how we are going to calculate, which is denoted by means of K suffix T. Here you can see this K suffix T is nothing but theoretical or this actual form stress concentration. Now this form stress concentration, that is nothing but how we are going to have the irregularity in geometry, that is nothing but in form. Based on that we are going to calculate, or we are going to have values in standard design data book, and that values are taken as a theoretical stress concentration. Whereas fatigue stress concentration or actual stress concentration factor, which is denoted by K suffix F, that we are going to calculate based on the experimentation which are done on that component. Okay, like we have done the experimentation for calculating endurance limit. Likewise, the actual results are the results which are coming from the experimentation. That results are compared with this theoretical stress concentration factor, and we come to know that there is somewhat difference. Okay, theoretical one are not matching actual with actual one. So that difference, or that what the relationship we are going to place between theoretical and actual, that is denoted or measured with notch sensitivity. Okay. Now here, when we are going to calculate the theoretical or form stress concentration, KT, the theoretical stress concentration factor is defined as, just a minute, I'll clear all these things. This theoretical or form stress concentration factor is defined as the ratio of maximum stress in the member at the notch. Now here, notch we have taken, it means that actually we are going to provide irregularity in the geometry. Suppose this is one plate, okay, where we are going to provide this notch, V notch we have provided. Or in other case, if suppose we are going to have this plate in which we drilled a hole in between that plate. And what happens? The stress is more near to the, okay, this arrow I am going to show for the stress. I'll use different color. Suppose this arrow, graphically I am representing stress, value of stress. And the stress which is mentioned here is average one. Okay, that's why I have shown it by little, it's smaller arrow, or we can say line, but near to the hole, that stress is more. That's why a longer arrow I have drawn, and it is indicating more stress. Okay, so the stress is varying like this near to the hole. Here also we can say the stress is more near to the notch, and this average stress in remaining areas are smaller. Okay, so this what we can say, the stress concentration near to the irregularity, that is near to the notch or fillet, where we have made the fillet, that is nothing but here. If suppose this is component where we have made the irregularity in geometry, this is our job. Okay, and stress will be more at this region, right? So that stress value, okay, to the normal stress value, that is nothing but the stress to the rest of the material or rest of the geometry, that stress value, that ratio if you are going to take, then it is known as theoretical stress concentration. Okay, so maximum stress over the normal stress, that will be the theoretical stress concentration. This KT value is depend upon the material and geometry of that part, right? Any doubt? Have you got the theoretical stress concentration factor? Let me know. You can write in comment box. Are you listening me? Yes, okay. Have you got it? Any question? Let me know if you have any question related to this. Got it. Very good. So we'll move to the further slide. Now here, theoretically, it has assumed that the maximum stress value is double of the actual stress value. Okay, that is sigma max at this place is double of the normal stress value. Now the stress concentration is in the notch tension member, where this notch has been formed, and this member is placed in the tension. Okay, tensile stresses are developed. Here also tensile stresses are developed. Okay, this tensile, okay, basically why we are going to take the tension only, that is which is easy to apply, and all these tests are conducted with easy experimentation. Okay, so this what we can say, the stress concentration in this notch tension member as shown in this figure 2. Okay, if influenced by the depth A, that is nothing but here notch which has been made is having depth as A of the notch and radius R, because how much notch you are going to form here, based on that the stress concentration value will be there. If you are going to form this, suppose notch in this manner, okay, less stress concentration will be there. As you goes on increasing this depth and as you goes on increasing this radius, stress concentration will be increased, right? It is but natural. Getting so maximum stress which is applied to the member having notch that are small in comparison, okay, with the width of the plate, and the relationship which we are going to mention with this notch and depth A and radius R is maximum stress is equal to normal stress. Here sigma value is the normal stress, multiply with 1 plus twice of A divided by R. Now here you can say that the relationship between A, R and stress that has been established. Okay, now if you are going to multiply with sigma inside, then this normal stress has been added, okay, with this sigma here we are going to place with this extra value. That extra value is sigma into 2A divided by R. Getting me? So this extra value has been added to the calculate the maximum stress. Now all these things are calculated, okay, based on A, R and normal stress, right? So normal stress again is measured based on your tensile experimentation, which we are going to calculate with the help of UTM. This type of and all results which we are going to get from that tensile test, that we are going to apply here, and based on that we are just going to calculate the maximum stress value. We are calculating, okay, we are not going to take actual stress concentration value or maximum stress value. Okay, so it is called as theoretical stress concentration factor, KT. T sub T is used for the theoretical stress concentration. So here what we are going to write is the sigma max value, which we are going to calculate from this equation divided by normal sigma, normal stress value, that is sigma. Okay, so likewise this theoretical stress concentration factor is calculated. Any doubt? Are you able to listen me? No doubt. Okay, and roughly already I have told you that maximum stress value is taken as a double of the normal stress. Okay, this is also used to simplify our calculations. Now when we are going to calculate the actual, okay, that is fatigue stress or actual stress concentration factor, that is K suffix F. At that time we are going to take ratio of endurance limit without stress concentration. That is nothing but when we are going to apply the completely reverse load on any component or standard specimen where the stress concentration is not considered, or we are not going to make any geometrical changes in that component. Okay, divided by endurance limit. Now this endurance limit is based on experimentation. Already we have seen what is the endurance limit. So this endurance limit, actually you are going to do experiment on that standard specimen, and then you are going to calculate this endurance limit, right? So we should understand the correlation between endurance limit, theoretical stress concentration and actual stress concentration factor. And these theoretical and actual stress concentration factors are used to calculate the notch sensitivity. Hence, directly we will come to know that what is the relationship between endurance limit and notch sensitivity. Now, this endurance limit and notch sensitivity are the criteria which are used to design any component against the fluctuating stresses. Okay, so This endurance limit is calculated without stress concentration divided by endurance limit with actual stress concentration. Little bit, I would like to ask one more question. What do you think that what will be the value of Kf, whether it will be more than 1 or less than 1? What logic you can apply? What will be the endurance limit without stress concentration, whether it will be high or low? Then endurance limit with stress concentration. Anybody of you? Can we apply logic here? Are you getting my question? Hello? Are you getting my question? Should I ask to someone? Yeah. It will be high. Balaji is saying it will be high. Do you want to say, Balaji, that it will be more than 1? Always. Balaji?
Yes.
Am I right? Yes. Is it more than 1? Always.
Yes, sir. More than.
Yeah. It will be more than 1. Anybody else who want to say some different answer from the answer which has been told by Balaji? So I'll ask to Abhishek Jodmote. Will you please unmute yourself? Roll number 15, Abhishek. Sorry, 14. Abhishek. Abhishek Jodmote. Are you listening me? See, if you are not going to give answer, okay, if at least you have to unmute yourself. Yeah, Abhishek Jodmote. What do you want to say? Have you got my question? Hello? Anybody else? Shubham, will you unmute yourself? Shubham Singhan. Or you can write in chat box if you are unable to unmute. Am I audible, Shubham? Question not getting. Okay, Shubham. My question is that whether this KF, that is fatigue stress concentration factor or actual stress concentration factor, will be more than 1 or less than 1. Okay, it will be depend upon endurance limit without stress concentration. Endurance limit is value of stress, which the standard specimen can sustain for infinite number of cycle. That is value of stress whether it will be more than the value of stress with stress concentration. If suppose this endurance limit, that is nothing but value of stress, is more without stress concentration than endurance limit, that is nothing but value of stress with stress concentration. If it is more, then definitely Kf will be more than 1. If it is less, definitely Kf will be less than 1. Have you got it? Hello? Ha, Singham. Singan. Have you got my question? Okay, what he is saying. Yes, okay. Question, yes. It will be more than 1. Yes, you want to say that it will be more than 1. Yes, definitely it will be more than 1. So we'll move further. Now, when we are going to come to the notch sensitivity, the notch sensitivity, that is term notch sensitivity, is applied to this type of behavior. Which type of behavior? Behavior that is nothing but this fluctuating type of load. Under the application of fluctuating type of load, that stress concentration area will be affected more. Okay, and near to the stress concentration area, we are going to get first crack, that is nothing but starting of the failure. And this behavior is applicable when we are going to consider that cyclic loading. Just
sir.
Okay, sorry. Are you able to listen me? Hello? Yes, okay. So this Q value, that is nothing but notch sensitivity value, is calculated as increase of actual stress over the normal stress, okay, in actual condition, okay, to increase of actual stress over normal stress, which we are going to calculate in terms of theoretical stress concentration, okay. So let us consider that sigma 0 is the normal stress which we are going to obtain to the with the normal formula of stress, that is nothing but force divided by area. Here we are not going to consider the stress concentration value, okay, or the stress near to the irregularity of geometry. That is, we are going to consider this sigma 0 value as a normal stress when we are going to apply normal load, okay. Then actual stress increased over the normal stress, that will be Kf, where Kf is the stress concentration factor in actual condition, and Kt is the theoretical stress concentration factor. Kf is the actual stress concentration factor, Kt is the theoretical stress concentration factor, okay. If you are going to multiply with this stress concentration factor to the normal stress, then we can get the actual stress increased over the normal stress, okay. So whatever may be the value which you are going to get, that value, that is increased stress value, because Kf is nothing but what? How you are going to calculate the Kf? Maximum stress divided by normal stress, this sigma 0, right? If you are going to take this Kf is equal to this sigma 0 to the other side, we can get the maximum stress value, right? In actual condition. And theoretically, this stress, increased stress or the normal stress will be Kt multiplied by sigma 0, right? So increased in actual stress over the normal stress, what will be the value of increased stress? Definitely maximum stress minus normal stress. This much value has increased in actual condition. Am I right? And theoretically, how much it has been increased? That is increased stress value minus normal stress. So this will be the value which we are going to consider as a increased stress theoretically, or value of stress which has increased theoretically, right? And ratio of these two is nothing but notch sensitivity. So this is also dimensionless quantity which we are going to get when we are going to divide actual stress increased over the normal stress divided by actual stress increased over the normal stress in theoretical condition, when we are going to consider theoretical stress concentration factor, and this value when we are going to consider actual stress concentration factor, which we are going to calculate with experimentation. Got it? Now this equation, I'll delete all these things. This equation again we can modify as to calculate the Kf. Kf is equal to 1 plus Q, where Q is notch sensitivity, into Kt minus 1. For tensile or bending stress, we are going to use this value. And for the shear, same value is calculated as 1 plus Q into KTS. Now this theoretical stress concentration factor in case of tensile and bending is somewhat smaller as compared with the shear. That's why this different formulae or different stress concentration factor we have to take for the torsional or shear stress. And this theoretical stress concentration factor in case of tensile and bending, where bending means again it is tensile and compressive, right? So these two stress concentration factors are having different values. That's why we are going to consider these two different formulas, based on which we can calculate this actual stress concentration factor, if you are knowing theoretical stress concentration factor and notch sensitivity. Are you getting me? So I will repeat once again. हे जे स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फॅक्टर आपण कॅल्क्युलेट करतो ते दोन प्रकारचे आहेत. ओके, पहिला प्रकार आहे जो आपण थिअरॉटिकली म्हणजे एकदाच टेन्साईल टेस्ट कंडक्ट केली एखाद्या मटेरियलची, आपण जसं थेरीज ऑफ फेल्युअर मध्ये कन्सिडर करत होतो की टेन्साईल स्ट्रेसची व्हॅल्यू काढली, अल्टिमेट टेन्साईल स्ट्रेस अँड यील्ड टेन्साईल स्ट्रेस, त्या दोन व्हॅल्यू आपल्याला एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन वरून मिळाल्या, UTM वर जर एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन केलेलं असतं त्याच्यावरून. ओके, आणि त्याच व्हॅल्यू वापरून आपण काय करतो, वेगवेगळ्या थिअरीमध्ये आपण त्यांचं फेल्युअर क्रायटेरिया काढतो. तसंच थेरॉटिकल स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फॅक्टर कॅल्क्युलेट करण्यासाठी एकदाच UTM वर ज्या टेस्ट केलेल्या आहेत त्या टेस्ट वरून आपण थेरॉटिकली ती व्हॅल्यू कॅल्क्युलेट करतो. पण ऍक्च्युअल स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फॅक्टर ज्यावेळेला आपण कॅल्क्युलेट करतो त्यावेळेला त्याच्यामध्ये थोडासा डिफरन्स आहे, हे एक्सपेरिमेंटनं प्रूव्ह केलं. ओके, सो ते एक्सपेरिमेंट त्या दोन्ही मधलं बिहेवियर आपण चेक करण्यासाठी किंवा त्यांचा डिफरन्स मिनिमाइज करण्यासाठी एक नवीन टर्म लॉन्च केले आणि त्या टर्मला म्हटलं जातं नॉच सेन्सिटिव्हिटी. आता ही नॉच सेन्सिटिव्हिटी जी आहे, परत एकदा की आपण ऍक्च्युअल स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फॅक्टर कसा कॅल्क्युलेट करतो, तर ऍक्च्युअल स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फॅक्टर हा एक्सपेरिमेंट करून आपण कॅल्क्युलेट करतो. एक्सपेरिमेंट कसा करतो आपण, तर इंड्युरन्स लिमिट कॅल्क्युलेट करायला किंवा इंड्युरन्स लिमिट फाइंड आउट करायला जो एक्सपेरिमेंट कंडक्ट करतोय स्टँडर्ड स्पेसिमन वर कम्प्लिटली रिव्हर्स स्ट्रेस अप्लाय करून, ओके, तो नॉर्मल एकदा कंडक्ट करायचा आणि एकदा तिथं नॉच किंवा तिथं स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन तयार करून एकदा करायचा. हे दोन एक्सपेरिमेंट झाले की त्यांच्यामधला डिफरन्स जो येतो त्याच्यानुसार आपण त्याचा जर रेशो घेतला तर ऍक्च्युअल स्ट्रेस कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फॅक्टर मिळतो आपल्याला. कशाचा रेशो घ्यायचा, स्ट्रेस विदाउट एनी irregularity in the geometry, that is without stress concentration, divided by stress with stress concentration. This ratio is nothing but the theoretical stress concentration factor. Okay, now once you are able to calculate this theoretical stress concentration factor and actual stress concentration factor, Kf is actual, Kt is theoretical. Now we have conducted these two experiments, one is tensile test and second one is endurance test. Okay, so based on these values which we are going to get, okay, we can go for calculation of notch sensitivity. Okay, once you have calculated this notch sensitivity, always it is not necessary to go for calculating theoretical actual stress concentration factor. That means conducting that experiment on standard specimen. If you are knowing notch sensitivity factor, you can calculate actual stress concentration factor based on theoretical stress concentration factor. So this formula is used for that. Now it is again come to know that the stress concentration factor which we are going to calculate in terms of tensile or bending stresses is different than the stress concentration which we are going to consider for shear as well as torsional stresses. That's why for tensile or bending, stress concentration factor is calculated and known as Kf, and for shear and torsional, stress concentration factor is calculated, and in that case theoretical stress concentration factor for shear is considered. Got it? Any question? Let me know if you have any doubt. Yes, you can write the comment. In chat box, you can put if you have any question, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Have you got the significance of notch sensitivity, which is used to calculate actual stress concentration factor? Or if you are knowing actual stress concentration factor and theoretical stress concentration factor, now theoretical stress concentration factor can be calculated easily, but actual stress concentration factor is calculated by means of experimentation only. Have you got it or not? I would like to hear from you. Please go ahead. Hello. No doubt. Okay. Okay. So can we move further?
Yes,
If you
sir.
don't have, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now this is important from what we can say: theoretical stress concentration factor, actual stress concentration factor, notch sensitivity, and endurance limit. These all quantities are correlated with each other, and one is derived from the other, and one is actually calculated by conducting experimentation, right? So these four quantities are important when we are going to design any component based on this fatigue loading or this what we can say fluctuating type of stresses. Now, very important diagram which we are going to say as a diagram means it is actually graph, which always is used when we are going to design any component under the application of fluctuating type stresses. That is called as modified Goodman diagram. Okay. Now, basically Goodman diagram, that endurance limit which has been calculated, that is actually what we can say the Goodman has conducted this type of experiment. Okay. And he has shown the relationship between endurance limit and number of cycles which standard specimen can sustain. But now if you are going to see in more details, and if you want to design any component, okay, then he has put the relationship between yield stress of any material, okay, then its endurance limit and actual stress which has been generated in that component. So these three quantities are important. You can say here the yield stress or yield limit of that material, then endurance limit of that material, and actual stress which has been generated in that material. Okay, where he has taken uh, this yield stress value on y-axis as well as on x-axis. Okay, so this is what we can say the stress which has been generated in component. The stress value which has been shown on y-axis are the stress which has been generated in a component, and on y-axis we are going to take the stress value. Okay, so basically on x and y the same values are considered. When we are going to consider this ultimate stress value on x-axis and ultimate stress value on y-axis, and if you join these two values, okay, equilateral triangle will be formed. Am I right? So this equilateral triangle, under this equilateral triangle, if you are going to take any value, then this can be considered for the endurance limit or its endurance stress. Okay. Now here also we have considered endurance limit of that particular component on y-axis and endurance limit of that particular component on x-axis. Okay, so when we are going to join these two lines, definitely endurance limit will not be more than the yield stress. So it has been taken on y-axis only. And if you are going to draw any line for which slope is constant, okay, then this particular region which we are going to take under the what we can say endurance limit, that will show the stress which has been generated, and below this particular bilateral okay, it is not bilateral, but this polygon which has been formed, that is A, B, C and O. Under this polygon, any stress value will give us infinite number of cycles of that particular component. Above or outside of this polygon A, B, C, O, if you are going to take any value, it will be showing the failure. Any stress value, if you are going to consider, then that material will get fail for number of cycles or definite number of cycles, okay, which we can measure. But inside this polygon, if you are going to keep the stress value, fluctuating stress value or completely reversible stress value, then it will survive for infinite number of cycles. Getting me? So this diagram can be used for calculating this number of cycles or infinite when we are going to design any component for the infinite number of cycles. Okay. So here the relationship which has been mentioned is sigma A, that is the actual stress which has been formed when we are going to apply the load, okay, sigma A is the actual stress which has been developed divided by its endurance limit plus sigma m, that is the maximum stress which has been generated near to the stress concentration or near to the irregularity, divided by its ultimate tensile strength, is equal to 1 over n. Is this 1 over n is nothing but the factor of safety. When we are going to consider factor of safety for fluctuating type of stresses, this Goodman diagram will help us how to select this factor of safety. And he has mentioned it into mathematical formulae. Any doubt? Hello? Do you have any doubt? If not, then we'll see this Goodman diagram again for the shear stress to the next lecture. Now I request to everybody to put their roll numbers in chat box and you can leave the class. After writing your roll number, please leave the class so that I will come to know that who has remained. Thank you for listening me.